Hey, thanks for tapping on this video. I want to talk to you today about how God knows you, He calls you, and He loves you from Isaiah 43:2. Man, I love this verse. It says in Isaiah 43:2, I have called you by name. You are mine. What a wonderful thing for a father to say to his son, or a God to say to his people. And the people of Israel weren't doing very well in Isaiah when God said this to them. They had broken the covenant. They had gone back on their promises. They had disobeyed. Moses said, obey and be blessed, disobey and be cursed. They had disobeyed. But God in His graciousness said, I still know you. I'm still calling you. I'm still loving you. It made me think of this student. I was a youth pastor in Chicago for a long time, and there was a student named Destiny, and she would always come up. I don't know if you've ever met a teenager like this. She was like, what's my name? What's my name? What's my name? And I just, for some reason, always couldn't remember what it was. There's so many students. I loved them all. It was just hard, and I didn't do a good job, and I should have just memorized her name. I couldn't remember what it was. Anyways, a couple years later, I was teaching a workshop at Trinity College in Chicago. And I walk around the corner, and sure enough, there she is running the front desk, this girl, Destiny. And I thought, oh, she's probably grown up by now. She won't ask me what her name is. I still couldn't remember, to my shame. And I walked around the corner with my wife, and I said, oh, I know that girl. And she comes up and she goes, what's my name? Can't believe that I still couldn't remember. Now I do, because I was so embarrassed. We never grow out of the personal nature of having someone know your name. You know, it's not personal in a relationship just because someone knows your name, but it's definitely not personal if they don't. And in the same way that I failed, God succeeds and is promising here something very special to you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're going through, God already knows you. He knows you by name. The way I like to say it is this. God would say to you today, I haven't just called you. I have you. It's not just that God calls out to you. It's that God calls out to you by name. I'm a big Beatles fan. Don't judge. And I love the Beatles. And I saw Paul McCartney in concert with my wife and my parents a couple summers ago, and it was amazing. And he just busted out the hits, and hit after hit after hit. And then he started playing the Wings stuff, and I was just like, whoa. And what do you think I would have felt like if from the stage in this massive arena of people, Paul McCartney would have said, hey, Landon, I see you out there. Thanks for coming. Man, my head would have exploded. And because of the fact that God is so personal, and because of the fact that we know God, we forget what an incredible privilege it is, what a blessing it is, what a magnificently ridiculous, lopsided thing it is that God would say to you, I know you. I know you by name. And then He says, you are mine. You're not your sins. You're not your pasts. You're not your worst decisions. You're not the enemy's. You're not your own. You're God's. What a glorious surrender of control. To not just hear God calling you by name, and to not just hear God saying you're mine, but to surrender your identity into that place. I'm God's. What would your life look like this week if when you woke up and looked in the mirror and didn't exactly like what you see, said, God knows me, God calls me, and God has me. I am His. What would your thought life, what would your anxieties, what would your relationships look like if you embraced that concept to the fullest that you possibly could? Man, I hope that you will. I love that verse, Isaiah 43:2.